All right, it's time to do this shit. So I'm adding in some new content. Skeletons, zombies, and rats, just to start with. So far it's going okay. However, there is a bug in the skeleton animation. Also, it would be nice to be able to like generate a dungeon with multiple different types of enemies being randomly placed, because a lot of these dudes kind of have rather similar stats right now. Like, none of them do anything special or unique. That'll eventually change. Eventually we'll get proper stats and like extra attributes for these motherfuckers. But like, to start with, and also things like NPC behavior and things like that I want to consider. It might be an interesting time to implement target path again as well, so that enemies can have pathfinding to the player or any other target that they want to decide to fuck with. There's only so much we're going to be able to do before 2016, right? It is coming up on us. Zombie works pretty well. Rat works pretty well. I'll show you all those in a moment. Of course, if you don't play the game now, before I push anything new, see where it's currently at, you can always go play the game over at evildojo.itch.io. Programming by Dark Mage, art by Krishna Palacio, sound effects by Leo Paz, music by Dark Mage and Suno AI. It's free to play, but consider giving $1. If like enough people gave $1 when they play it because they like it or like where it's going, or they enjoy these streams or whatever, that might help me pay for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Might help me focus on actually making this thing happen. You don't have to. I'm not trying to hold a gun to your head or anything. As it is, I like working on this thing. In my life before, I did not get a chance to work in C++ on anything. None of the projects that people have paid me to do have involved C++, and I really enjoy working in the language. It's kind of interesting. You'd be like, why would you try to get some C++ jobs? And it's like, well, you don't always get to pick your jobs, to be honest. Like, if you're in a position in life where you kind of have to take the opportunities that are given to you, then you never have time to, actively carve out your own path. That only comes after you kind of grinded or ground. Is it grinded or ground? That only comes after you've hustled for so long to like get the experience and the financial backing to be able to kind of take a deep breath, be like, okay, I can rest for a moment. What do I do next? Because the moment that you get some free time is the moment that you have to start thinking about your own projects. And I'm very thankful that I'm in a position where I have a lot more free time to work on this than I have in the past. Very few obstacles other than having to balance this out with spending time with paying customers. Just think of this like a public service in a lot of ways, because for one, the code is free. Anyone could look at the code. It's released under WTFPL, the what the fuck public license. Because it's fucking license, right? Like, OpenAI just be straight up stealing code out in the open and stealing a lot of other shit too, right? Because you could just take some shit from someone and be like, haha, I got your shit, motherfucker. But like, if someone just gives it to you, then you can kind of do with it what you want. It's like, you know, whatever, you know, make it work for you, right? You know, because I've been coding for so long that it's like, I gotta do my own shit at some point. That's where this game comes in. So let's see where it's at. I distinctly compiled it without music. Hold on. So we're going to compile it with music. Then later I'll play my own music. It's not necessarily the game music. And actually, there is a real issue in terms of how do you decide how many musics, how many music files, like how many songs, how many things should the game have? And it's like, well, eventually I'm going to have to like curate this and actually implement the ability to like switch music. I don't even think I have that at the moment because it's like, I just randomly select a music file on load. So you get a different music file and there's like 20 or so in there. And I could add a lot more. I've got literally hundreds of musics that could go into the game. But not everything is appropriate for the game. So, you know, it's on a case-by-case basis. Because there is a very stylistic element to what I'm trying to do here. All right, we got a very high strength, high constitution character here. I'm gonna zoom in a bit because I feel like it kind of looks good. So I got some box stuff in here, right? I don't know if I showed that off last time. I'll check the chats in a minute. So I don't want to fight this guy yet because I don't have a shield or anything. Okay, there's a shield. Pick it up. Item screen. Equip. Verify you're equipped. I should actually add a message for when you equip a shield. I think that might be a useful notification. I'm trying to bait the guy into moving. He's honestly totally randomly selecting all that just to stay still. So we're gonna try and kill this guy. Oh, he actually hit me. Even though I've got like such high attack, I haven't landed a hit yet. Okay, I dealt 5 damage to him. 5 more damage. And he's dead. Very cool. And we're gonna grab that HP potion. It's the only one I have. I haven't figured out what zombies should drop yet. Like, what sorts of things would a zombie carry on them? Whatever they had in life, right? Or, like, do they pick up new shit? after undeath. And actually at some point, yeah, I think that would be the mechanic to add with zombies, is that they should be able to be damaged by like healing spells and shit, right? Or potions. Like you should be able to throw a potion and it should hit a zombie potentially. I'm just coming up with shit on the fly. Okay, so this is looking good. This is feeling good. Oh, I never equipped the dagger. Yeah, none of these dudes have like a weapon or anything. We'll go and use that potion. What do y'all think so far? I think the zombies look good. I had to do some modifications to the oh, that's interesting. It's kind of overlaid on top of the walls. I'm sure that's okay for right now. Like their final death state frame overflows from one tile into the next. Which in some cases, like if you line it up well enough, like I should probably center that a little bit better so that it's kind of like in the center of the tile. And that's an easy fix. That's something I can do in Sprite. And actually I did that earlier. But for as good as the zombies look, right? Hold on a sec. For as good as the zombies look, and for as good as the rats look, I'll show y'all rats next. We'll lead into the problem that I'm going to deal with tonight, or like right now-ish. So instead of a zombie, we're going to create a rat. Or a lot of rats, rather. And I tested them out earlier, and they look good, too. So I gotta fix the spawning algorithm, because I'm supposed to be randomly selecting a tile, but I shouldn't be selecting one that has a door on it. The rat just fucking got on top of the fucking shield. Just my luck. Watch his ass kill me. Oh, never mind. Okay. That was lucky. There's the rat. Or another rat, rather. Wow, he just randomly got up next to me. And I one-shot his ass. See, the rats are supposed to be low HP monsters, so they really shouldn't take, like, a lot to kill. Consequently, they should have low HP. Just like the slimes, too. Like, slimes and rats are both intended to be easy to kill, but dangerous in swarms, right? And as you progress currently, the number of enemies that spawn is going to be correlated to like what floor you're on. So now that we're on floor 3, which is index 2, there's 2 in here. And I believe everyone's got random stats too, so it's possible that you could random like a rat that has like really high dexterity. I still gotta fix that bug where you can like come in on top of an entity or an NPC because they like randomly wandered onto the stairs tile. The only way I can think of dealing with that is to like, when entities are randomly moving around or they're deciding where to move, if the player is not like on the stairs, or rather if they're not on like the same floor and like the NPCs are moving like when the player is on like some other floor, then they should probably not randomly choose to move onto a stairs tile. Unless they're going to be an entity that has the ability to like go up and down stairs. They would have no real reason to go on top of a stairs tile. Like we think of the mechanics of like moving between floors, for instance. I feel like this is kind of like a thing, right? Also, what are rats supposed to drop? Like you kill a rat in a dungeon, it's like I've been doing. What's the rat supposed to drop? Right? Like, what does a rat have on it? What is it ingested in the dungeon that might fall out of it when you cut it open? Gold coins? Like potions? I don't know. I want this to make sense. I don't want to like be dropping some bullshit that don't make sense. You know what I mean? That I can define what drops on what. All I have to do is add it to its inventory when I create it. And whenever you kill stuff, if it has an inventory, the inventory drops onto the tile. So this is an actual decision I have to make and think about. Kind of like a smaller point, but you know, it is a thing. So anyway, rats look good, right? They feel good. So now the problem. Or, yeah, because skeletons just don't look fantastic. They don't feel great. And this is going to be kind of like a walkthrough from like all the way from the creation of the texture, which means actually opening up a sprite. As well as, motherfucker just hit me up on Discord. Hey man, I like your vids. I've watched a bunch. Oh wow, thank you. Appreciate that. Very kind. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, some interesting things too. Before I show off how broken skeletons are, I found out this new code analysis tool, or I don't know what you call it, but it takes a little snapshot of your repo, all the files that you want to, kind of mark. And we're sitting at about 7,742 lines of code, split up across C header files, shader files, Python scripts, shell files, C++, and HTML. And the estimated cost to develop my project at the moment, $231,681. Estimated scheduled effort, 7.89 months. Well, I've actually been working on it significantly longer than that. And estimated people required, 2.61. Well, I guess I'm at least that, I'm at least a 2x developer, a 2.5x developer, apparently. So we're going to take a look at Skeleton. I'm not happy with how it looks, and I'm going to figure out how we can fix it. There is an actual bug in one of the particular animation states, and I haven't quite figured out exactly what the fuck is going on with it. I'm super new to programming in raylib, and it's super discouraging. I keep having the same problem with all my projects. I put in header source files, and at some point something happens when I hit run, and Visual Studio comes telling me your program does not exist when I hit run. Well, first of all, your problem is you're using Visual Studio Code. Anyone who's been on my channel knows that I am not a big fan of Visual Studio Code, in particular because of the amount of setup. Like, I personally do everything kind of like old school. I actually write my own makefile, and this is the cleanest that the makefile has ever been ever since I've gone header only. Header only is a very potentially powerful development paradigm where instead of having all of your code in individual header and C++ files or C files, and then like compiling individual objects off of those, and then having to like aggregate all of those objects into a final binary by linking them all together, you just have the code in the header file. And that way you can kind of reduce your compilation step down to literally like one command. The problem there is not you. The problem is how your project is set up with regards to its interactions with Visual Studio Code. I can't really speak to how to fix that, unfortunately. I'm not really an expert in Visual Studio Code. And I'm sure that there's a number of different ways that individuals have to deal with compiling projects because of the different myriad of build systems that exist out there. Some people like to use CMake. Some people, like myself, are just doing raw makefiles. There's other build systems out there, like for Sprite, I think they use something called Ninja. And so it's going to be like on a case-by-case basis. Like, not to mention, the situation is going to be different for someone on Windows versus Linux versus any of these different environments. So, like, it's really kind of like on a case-by-case basis. Like, everyone writing raylib has potentially different build setups in different languages, and everyone's kind of like on their own in a lot of ways. Like at a certain point as a developer, as a coder, you're going to have to try and piece things together yourself. I I don't mean to be discouraging. I'm hoping to encourage you that this is just going to be a personal challenge, that I believe that you'll overcome it. Sometimes you got to step away from the computer if you ever find yourself banging your head, and try to like put the problem in the background so that your background brain can kind of like dissect it, like let your unconscious tackle the problem. And eventually you'll start to think about, especially when it comes to like project configuration. Project configuration is kind of annoying. Like getting to the point where your program actually consistently builds, like that is a thing that like people don't often talk about in the developer space. So just be aware it's a thing. No big deal. You'll overcome it. I believe in you. There's not been a problem that I have seen one student of mine actually not overcome. It's all in the mind. There is no spoon. So let's look at how shitty fucking skeletons look, right? It's actually upsetting to me. Okay, so there's the bug, right? The state that the skeleton currently is in, something is wrong with the animation. I'm not exactly sure what. But in order to investigate it, I'm gonna have to open up Sprite and take a look at each of the different sprite sheets for the skeleton. Secondly, while this is the actual provided sprite sheet animation for this state, I don't think it looks that great. It's off center. It should be a little bit more to the right. I want to get that shield though. The attack animation looks correct. Okay. That looked good, mostly, except for those problematic animations. This motherfucker actually managed to hit me. So I actually corrected the death animation because the death animation was also off-center as fuck. Like, for some of the sprites that I'm importing into the game, I have to manually move them, like, in a sprite a couple of pixels in one direction or another. Probably the most, like, automated thing that I have to deal with. Or like not automated, or because it's on a case-by-case basis. You have to like manually inspect the sprite sheet in order to like know what the fuck is even going on there. So we're gonna do that right now. I got a sprite open. Let me hop it over in here. Alright, so there's our A sprite, right? So over here, we're going to open. Let's take a look at skeleton idle. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So we got a situation where, and I'm not clear on what context the skeleton is it all supposed to be like one whole animation with just like one context? Like it wouldn't matter what direction they happen to be facing in? Because the idle state assumes 4 directions, right? So I'm gonna kind of hack this out visually, because I feel like we can get away with using the system as it currently exists by taking what we have here, creating a single sprite sheet with a very long animation, because it looks like he's like coming to life and then coming back down, and that's probably what the correct animation is supposed to be. Notice that some of these are also kind of off center, and like for instance, like this one, I would want it to be more in the center, right? Like, and even the dudes themselves are also off center, so we're probably gonna move them over. But how do we do this? So let's count out the animation frames to start with. Let's see what we're working with. We got like, actually I kind of want some music now. All right. Hell yeah. So this frame, and this frame are all the same, right? So this frame and this frame are also the same. So actually, I think what is intended here is actually that these could be chopped up into 3 separate like actions, like one where like a skeleton forms and then one where he like decomposes. But I don't necessarily care so much about that. Maybe that'll be a thing. Maybe at some point we'll be able to like resurrect the skeleton or some shit. But what I'm thinking of is to start with what is the math on this? $96 plus 32, 128. Okay. All right, so if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 32 times 10 is 320. So 160 plus 320. No. 160 plus 160. 320, okay. So in this situation, he'll hold the decomposed state and then like the fully composed state or like 2 additional frames, right? I just feel like this should be really like this, right? Too far over. Okay, those look pretty close. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy that whole thing. And we're just going to use it for both. Or rather, all 4 animation contexts. So just keep it simple, you know. This way, if we wanted to like find a way to handle like actually visually representing direction when it's in this state, would be able to do that. Oops. Let's take a look at skeleton attack. So it's actually got like very clearly defined directions, and it looked pretty good. Skeleton walk. Interesting. Very limited animations. Skeleton damage. Looks okay to me. Skeleton die. So this one I actually had to manually update because a lot of the sprites animation, when you know, like for the death animation, end with them sinking into the floor and like disappearing, and I think that's kind of lame. So for my system, on the final death frame, the animation stops so that there's a persistent body on the tile, because eventually I want to be able to have people drag bodies around. It's not something you're going to be able to put in your inventory, but it would be something that you could actually pull or push potentially onto, like, say for instance a floor tile that has a switch on it, and that switch opens a door or something. And if there wasn't a body around, you might look for a box, that sort of thing. So we're going to test how this looks now. So whenever we make changes to a sprite sheet file, or whenever we update, or whenever we add a sprite, or anything like this, one of the first things that we have to do, we have to run my magic generation script. It's Python. It opens up two files, textures.txt and textureids.h. What does it do? We actually generate these files using Python. It makes it easier for me to manage my assets. This is what gets generated for the textures.txt file. This is a reference to basically tell the game, associate this index with the file at this location and actually load it into memory. Also note that it has automatically generated a number of contexts as well as a number of frames. So every single one of these is correctly calculated and accounted for. So I'm able to use any of these in the game right away. How do I use them? This file is also programmatically generated with the same script. I'm able to reference any one of the textures that are defined over here. So here, there's no human readable representation of the assets themselves, other than the file path. But the file path is an inconvenient way to actually attempt to do this. You don't want to have to manually reference these things, and not to mention, my system is set up to load all of these things before the game even runs. So like after all the logical components get substantiated, all the graphics get loaded. This is where this comes in. Because there's so many graphics, and because manually updating this file myself was becoming like a really big pain in the ass, I wrote that script, and it does this. Now I can reference any one of these 504, 503, 502 files, or yeah, these are all graphics files. And each one of them, I'm not using all of them yet, but a lot of them are ready to go whenever I get around to actually dropping stuff in there. But if you think about, like, every entity type has potentially one or more, and like with NPCs, for instance, you know, for every action there's a sprite sheet. It adds up fast. And there's a lot more to come. Every time I drop a new file in there, we have to run this script in order to update the textures files. So let's run that script. As you see, textures.txt has been updated. Note that the other file did not change. It still wrote something out, but it didn't change because we didn't add like any new files. The only thing that got updated was the textures file, or the textures.txt. So that line is right there. So now it, instead of it being just a 3x5 context, it's now got 4 proper contexts, and each one has 10 frames of animation. Let's test it out. I'm gonna turn music off. Okay, that looks better. That's I think what was intended. Although the player drawing on top of like being drawn on top like that looks a little bit weird. But otherwise the skeleton now I think looks correct and we can actually say that bug is fixed. Oh, you know what? I should actually be counting my text files and my markdown files. Oh, the inflation. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna have to correct the stats. So we're gonna actually nuke everything except for that. Oh, I didn't mean to close everything. Shit. All right, so let's go into lib logic, right? So we're like hard coding in our monster creation, and we actually have more than one monster type now, right? We have a significant number of monsters. It might be useful to have some sort of function that like randomly selects a monster to create. So get random location should not select a location with a door. The tile entity size greater than 0. And like a door should count as an entity, so because when we place a door, it's its own entity type, so we shouldn't be seeing that. But okay, so let's talk monster creation, right? So similar to the other entity creation methods, Like as an example, create potion. Instead of create potion, let's say we want to create a monster. Just like with create potion, rather unlike it, we're not going to set its entity type, and we're not going to do that. And we do call monster init function. Let's take a look how we're doing it in lib logic. We're actually calling create NPC at with. So we have to think about like parameters that we want to pass in, right? Because like with we want to say create random monster with. That way we don't really have to think too hard about like what type we're passing in. So instead of calling add entity, when I actually call create NPC at with. And actually not at with. Let's create NPC with. And then we have some function down here that we pass in. So in this case, we're hard coding the race in. But let's say we pull that out to its own variable. Actually, we could even pass it in right here. So whatever customization that we wanted to pass in from up top, we'll just drop it in right there. Now we have to define the corresponding at with function. Because this is what allows us to like actually place it in the dungeon. My little girl is woken up. All right, we're gonna step out real quick. In the meantime, y'all check this game out. Okay, let's see here. Get the microphone in a spot where it's like, okay. Raise my monitors up a bit so my cat could sit under my monitor if he wants to. Actually, we've got things lined up right now. This might be good. All right, so we have these races: goblin, orc, bat, wolf, warg, zombie, skeleton, rat, green slime. And we want to randomly select one. For the moment, we're just going to hard code in and it might even feel more comfy in the future instead of making it a const, like, so that we can like push, because having to inline them all like this is kind of gross. It's not the best looking syntax, but it'll do what I want it to for right now. So instead of hard coding race skeleton, we can call random monster type. Now we could even find a way to hook in additional initialization functions, because I was just thinking, if we ran them to orc, for instance, we actually have some procedures defined for randomly initializing the orc with like a random weapon as well as a potion. And so if the like we can actually do something like auto hook equals something like that. And say on its own, it does, all it does is actually call monster init function for G and ID, right? Actually, I don't think we can use it like that, can we? Oh, wait. We can pass it in. Nano, stop. Get up here. Come on, buddy. They have the internet. Everybody, this is Nano. He's a good boy, except for when he's trying to destroy the computer. Alright, so in this case, we're actually passing monster init function so we can call it. But let's say that's funny. So you can't have just like so if I wanted to just have a standalone variable that I haven't initialized yet, you can't use auto. But that works. So when we create this hook, right? What we effectively want to do is call another function on top of any other initialization that we're passing in. But the order matters here. So if properties get set in one function, might get overridden by another. So you have to be careful about this kind of thing. So what function do I want to call? I want to call orc-init test. So here I can hook any additional initialization functions that I'd like to layer. Because at the end of the day, like one of the goals of this, a very flexible NPC generation system. So this gives us a case where if I random generating an orc out of the different monster types whenever I call create random monster. If we call orc, then a special initialization gets passed in, regardless of what the other ones are. So in liblogic, where we're actually like, well, let me save this file. In liblogic though, where we're actually creating skeleton, the only thing that we're actually passing in is a hard code to like set the name, because I don't have a means to automate that yet. So one thing that we could do to do that here we have a direct association with each individual type, but what I should be doing for this is actually using like dictionary or a map. Okay, so actually this is a function that I would want to hook in. Uh, so instead of hard coding and monster init function here, call it hook. What do y'all think? Yo, what's up, Dulce? How you doing? You like my UI? Thank you. I appreciate that. This is NeoVim. NeoVim, ZSH, Terminator Terminal. Tokyo Midnight theme, I think. So now, whenever we call create random monster, I don't have to hard code setting the name because it'll automatically set a default name for me. So instead of calling or hard coding in this, what we can now do, create random monster at with G and then we can pass in like an empty function for this one. All right, that's a lot cleaner. Now, excuse me. Now's the time to actually test it. Oh shit, we encountered a rat. Oh fuck, we encountered a warg. Haven't seen those guys in a while. It's lion. Nice. Oh shit, I got fucking one-shotted by a bat. We should have a thing that it should print the message how much damage I got dealt before I died. It only said you died. Got a wolf. I feel like the wolf should also not be so far off. That's actually a fix that we can take a look at right now. So notice that the wolf body goes, it like, you know, it's like roll over, right? But I really want it to be more on center. So if like this one is considered pretty close to on center, right? So we want to take this one, maybe move it over like 2. Take this one 1, 2, 3, 4. Take this one 2, 3, 4, 5 even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because this change did not involve the deletion of any frames, I'm not going to need to like rerun the generate texture function. So that was an easy fix. But let's run the game again. Generally, enemies, like I'm really gonna have to review the Dungeons and Dragons 3.0 and 3.5 monster creation, because I know, like, generally speaking, like entities, like for instance, a bat probably shouldn't have 18 strength, like, ever, right? Like, unless it was like enchanted or I don't know, had something special equipped on it. Like, there's generally no reason that a bat should ever be so physically strong that it could do the same kind of damage hitting you as like an orc, for instance, right? So there's probably some bound on like a level 1 bat strength that we need to take into consideration when we actually like create like a new bat. That makes sense, right? Yeah, got his ass. Goblins should also have a init function, finally. But he didn't drop anything. Oh my god. And the skeleton shouldn't have dropped the sword. That's absolutely out of the question. There's no way a skeleton should have dropped anything. Oh, he got me. Shit. Look at his ass fucking dancing. He's like, I got his ass. I got his ass. Piece of shit. I've seen some pretty good draw times recently. It's like sub 16 is pretty solid. 14's better. I've even seen it drop down to like 9. There are some text rendering bugs in like the title, depending on like the date. I think it's inconsistent usage between draw text and draw text X. I don't know if raylib ever fixed that in a newer. I haven't updated my version. God knows how long. Time is at 10:42. So far, this feels good. I haven't encountered any bugs the last couple runs yet. Damn, spawning with the skeleton right next to me? That's fucking unlucky. I'm thinking of some simplifications to the control scheme as well. Like, maybe you shouldn't have to like press O to like open a door. Maybe just walking into the door could make an attempt to open it. Yeah, that was a big hit he hit me with. Said restored 3 HP, but it fully healed me. Okay, that looked good. That looked pretty good. I think my update was a success there. Okay, there's a zombie. Got his ass. Why isn't the orc spawning with... I wrote all this code. Not doing what I want. Okay, he got properly spawned at that time. But the zombie shouldn't be spawning with axes and stuff. Not to mention there shouldn't be zombies spawning. Oh wait, no, it's getting overridden by create random monster with we're not even using R here. This should actually go up here. That's why. So really the hook probably needs to go up there. So create random monster with will take that init function, whatever we pass in this case, usually an empty function. And here with when we actually do the race selection, at this moment we're going to hard code in orc just for testing. Okay, well there's our orc. Damn, 2 for 2. There we go. I gotta step away again for a minute. Y'all gotta check this game out. And give me some motherfucking money on itch.io. There's an orc. Only had a dagger on him. Whoa. Dangerous. Oh, fuck, I got axed. Damn. Game is actually pretty hard. I think the bat's animation for moving shouldn't be the attack animation. I think that's something I could probably fix like now. So in set sprite group walk, okay, so the bat's index for attack is 2, and the index for NPC walk is 2, which is why we're seeing that. Okay, that looked pretty good. Nice. Oh, there's a default animation. I gotta get rid of that. All right, let's take a look. Oh, it's probably using halfling attack instead of halfling attack slash. See, there's we should probably just get rid of the default one entirely. Because this is the correct sprite sheet. I'm just referring to it, or not referring to it in code correctly. So the one that it's actually using is this one, but that's not what we want. What we want is this one. So if we were to take a look at our texture files, see, it's got halfling attack in there, but what we want is attack slash. See, there's halfling attacks regular, but we want the slash. So the general expectation is that the attack animation should be the third in sequence. So if we take a look at which textures we're actually using in Halfling, we could see that we're not using the correct attack. We need to use attack slash. I would not be surprised if this is the same case for Goblin. Yeah, there's also a Goblin regular attack and then a actual unarmed slash. So we're gonna go and update those. And actually we can even grep through the file to make sure that, as I can see, like orc needs to be attack slash as well. Elf. Orc. And eventually when we get like spears and stuff, we'll add those to this list. Attack slash, okay. And so I can actually go in and test that right away. Oh wait. Better way we could do that is by actually selecting another race. In fact, let's do Halfling. Make sure it works. Much better. Oh, that's right. I set it to bats only. Only bats. Yeah, I spawned with like no HP. Sure enough, got fucked. Alright, 14 strength, 15 constitution. We got a reasonable HP start, reasonable dexterity, armor class bonus, reasonable attack bonus. It's a solid stats layout. I also feel like I want to fuck with the drawing order. I haven't fucked with this code in a while. I originally had it so that items would spawn on top of, or be drawn on top of dead entities. See, the shield shouldn't be spawning there. Shields should not be spawning on top of doors. Oh, you know why it is? You know why? I know why now. I'm placing doors after all that stuff instead of before. That makes sense now. "15 strength, 15 constitution, not bad." Ouch. Ooh, there's a lot of monsters in this room. What's nan boxing? Talk to me, Dulce. What's nan boxing? At first I thought Nand. But no, Nan and Nand are not the same thing. Ouch. I'm surprised he didn't drop anything. How's my shield doing? 69. There we go. We actually got an extra potion fucking finally. Jesus. Hell yeah. Survivability going up. Although, at this point, I should have leveled up probably, but I have not implemented level up yet. I noticed there's a bit of a glitchy animation there when a NPC is moving into a tile that's outside of your radius. They instantly disappear, it seems. Ooh. That could have been mad. Ooh, X. Oh shit. I'm getting clapped. Gotcha, bitch. They broke my shield. The motherfuckers broke my goddamn shield. Oh no, and I don't have another shield. Oh no. I'm about to get clapped. Damn, there you go. This feels really good. My bad. No, no, don't even think about it. You don't scratch my computer. You don't scratch my computer. Okay. See, right now he's a good boy. I think he's trying to tell me I gotta get ready for bed. Well, that's good because I'm about to push this update and then we're good to go, homie. I haven't even used the magic system at all today. All those updates I was doing to Tri-Entity Attack are kind of serving as the basis for how every other action function should effectively perform checks. Because I'm not using like a very robust like event handling system at the moment. Stop it! Stop messing with my computer. Buddy. This fuckwad. I'm rubbing his neck with my toes. And he just looks like he's in ecstasy right now. He's just purring nonstop. He's trying to use my legs as a scratching post. That's a hard no. He's also been, like, nibbling me when he wants my attention. Like, when I walk by him in the kitchen, he'll, like, bite my hands. Like he'll bite my forearm. And he never pierces his skin, but, like, it's so aggro. Alright, we're gonna copy this over. And we're gonna push. And we're gonna push here too. Alright. Well, that's all for now. I hope y'all have enjoyed. I know I did. I hope this game looks like it's gonna be good. It feels like it's gonna be good. It feels good now. But it obviously needs a lot more work. And a lot of those details are gonna be coming. Because there is more to life than just combat. Although, combat is a big part. Shoutouts to everyone who's joined. I love you guys. Shoutouts to everyone who's been supporting. Shoutouts to Dulce. We miss you over in the Discord, man. Always get the viewers just before I sign off, but you know what? I've been online streaming for 2.5 hours now. It's time to chillax. It's almost midnight. It's almost New Year or Christmas Eve. I was about to say New Year's. It is technically almost New Year's, but it's also closer to Christmas Eve than New Year's. What do y'all got planned? Y'all doing anything fun? Y'all hanging out with family? I got my little family right here. It'll be nice and quiet. Enjoy some special foods. Maybe I'll do some streaming. Maybe we'll work on the game. Maybe we'll do something else. Who knows? We're gonna have fun either way. So, before I go, of course, let me remind you again, the game is free to play. Everything that you saw me do tonight is now live. You can go play the game for yourself. There are still naturally many things to be done. It is a long road to version 1.0. But I appreciate all your support along the way. You keep watching me, you keep asking questions. Keep chatting. Keep listening to me hack and cough. This thing's gonna see some movement. Until next time, everyone. Peace.